Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and your local recycling center probably won't take styrofoam or dead pigeons. Don't ask how I know. But last night we did a live stream and we went in on the SOG Flash AT. Hey, there's a microfiber. And let's take a look at what we're holding because it'll bother you if I don't and you'll lose sleep over it. And first things first and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up. And I bet you don't know where I'm going with this, which is the Lord's carry. See, you didn't expect that. I threw you a curveball. We've got blue G10 on the handles. We've got an axis lock. We've got a thumb stud. So let's flick the thumb stud. And we got 3.5 inches of Cryo D2 steel. So I've carried this and reviewed it favorably. I did like this thing quite a bit for a while there. You know, my only real complaint at that point in time was you have an axis lock with an assisted opener, which makes little to no sense because you got to pull this back and then you got to keep it steady while you close it. And if your hands are dried out or anything like that, it tends to start sliding backwards. Or worst case scenario, you got to keep your fingies kind of in harm's way to keep it stable while you're doing that. So, like, you can learn your way around that. Like, it's possible if you're committed to carrying this thing to learn your way around that. And, like, it's not the end of the world. It's annoying. I don't know if their intent was to have you close it two-handed, which, of course, is way easier. But, you know, I think most of us like being able to one-hand close things pretty easily. So, you know, that was a bit of weirdness that SOG baked into this thing, and I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure why they did that. I'm really not. But, you know, I liked it well enough. I reviewed it favorably, and then we did Cardboard Slayer. Then we put it through the ringer, and problems started showing up. So let's kind of go through our timeline of events. And when we started the live stream, we were running at 136 on the electronic tester, and it came out of the gate swinging. Very clean, very slicey. You know, you got not quite a flat grind, but you got a similar grind to the Ozark Trail Dropout where you've got an incredibly shallow hollow into the flat right here. Like, you can barely feel the hollow on this grind. So that did pretty good coming right out of the gate. Like, I really enjoyed cutting with this thing. It was like cutting with a laser for a while there. It was solid. And after our first hour, we hit 285 on the scale. And this right here started becoming a huge problem. So that right there, see what I'm talking about with this assisted open on top of the axis lock? If it slips a little bit, it's just a spring that launches it clean out of your hands. I don't understand why they did this. Like, I've had some practice with this, and when I do fumble it, you know, the spring shoots it out of my hand. It's so annoying. But the safety here, it engages and you can't open her, which, understandable. However, why, in the name of God, did they put it right here? Why? After that first hour, this right here, and it's still a little bit on the red side, still a little bit tender, but it started digging in right here. And it did not stop, okay? Just did not stop. So, like, that is where the biggest of the problems comes in, all right? Once it started hurting, like, I hit a point very quickly where I just did not want to keep going. I did keep going for you guys, and I did keep going because I also really wanted to know what this was going to do, especially because, you know, we got Cryo D2, which is supposed to be a fancier heat treatment than, you know, your regular heat treatment. We've got a very similar grind to the Ozark Trail Dropout, and we know this thing went forever before the edge got wiped out. And no, this did our 4 hours. Like, after the third hour, we hit 383, and, 383 on the scale. We kept going. This started hurting more and more and more, and we kept going, and at the next hour, yeah, because we did 136, then 285, then 383, and then 490 at the 4 hour mark. And then after about another 15-20 minutes here, it hit 530. So at that point, the edge was fairly wrecked. Like, it wasn't 100%ed. It wasn't 100% toast. But by the time we hit that point, one, we had our first few cuts starting to look really ragged and nasty. Like, we were right there where it was about to fall off the cliff. But this hurt so much, I could not continue cutting with it. We sharpened it, and we threw it off to the side. You know, the rest of the live stream we spent taking a look at stuff and hanging out. And again, if you haven't checked out one of the live streams, please do. They are a lot of fun. They get kind of chaotic. I really enjoyed last night's stream. It was so good. But And it's unfortunate. Like, this whole thing is just very unfortunate because the build quality is there. The build quality is there. It's well put together. All the materials feel nice. Jammed in the waistband, it felt very, very comfortable. Like, it did so good and came up so short. And I hate to say that, but like, SOG has been kind of problematic for me. The Terminus XR, it had that issue with the pocket clip. And, I called them and waited 8 months for them to send me the wrong pocket clip. I've got the a little SOG folding multi-tool that's not fun to carry. It's not that much fun to use. It's a cool design. It's cool to fidget with, but in practice, really underwhelming. And then we got this guy right here. And again, so many good things going on, but just enough wrong things to really, really be a giant turd in the punch bowl. Like, whoever decided we needed these elements in the same place at the same time, I kind of hope they wind up being the third guy in a human centipede at some point. And it's just so close, because if it hadn't been spring assisted and this safety switch wasn't right here, this thing would be phenomenal. This thing would be a home run. And it's like, I believe I looked at $68 on Amazon right now, and then full retail is like $85 on this. I got this on sale at Midway USA a long time ago, and I think I paid somewhere around $40-ish, something like that, and that was when the full retail was about $100, somewhere right at the $100 mark. So I got it for a good price, and it's like, I liked it when I got it outside of the spring assist on it. I carried it, I enjoyed it, and the hatred for it didn't really start showing up until we did Cardboard Slayer. But, we sharpened it, so we'll do the things when we do after we sharpen them. And let's flick the stud. I'm on the camera. Wow. All right, so there we are. We weren't having any problems with that last night. It just showed up tonight. And this stuff is weird. Like, this is another one of those where I couldn't ever really get a strong burr to come up on the precision adjust. I really tried. I put it on the belt grinder, the Kin Onion, and I ran that until the burr came up, and I did good with that. Like, it was fine. But still, it did not take the edge I really wanted it to take, but we still got good numbers. Like, we brought it back down to the factory edge setting. Let's see what we show up with on the electronic tester, because we have one. I said the edge is kind of underwhelming, but we did hit a point too where I was really tired and didn't want to keep messing with it, so I could probably go back in there again and put like the really crazy sharp edge on it that I want, but I'm not carrying this thing again. I'm not. 247, let's get a test clip out. Yeah, like this one, it did not want to sharpen. It just did not want to be sharpened. It fought the whole way. So if I really wanted to, I'd go back in and do this again. But we had it down to a 136, I believe, after all that said and done. Yeah, 167. So we're back there into factory edge range. We are back there into factory edge territory. It's definitely sharp enough to carry and be serviceable for as long as the edge lasts. But, I can't recommend buying this thing. I genuinely cannot. Like I said, it's really sketchy having to close a spring-assisted axis lock just because most of your hand strength is tied up right here. Your hand strength and dexterity is tied up right here, and you don't quite have the number of fingies you'd want to work on this thing. And then the only thing holding it still is this part of your palm right here, and it's not enjoyable. Like you guys saw, I went to close it, and it shot right backwards out of my hands. I didn't do that on purpose. That wasn't for dramatic effect. That's what happens once in a while, because my hands are dried out, like I'm not sweating, I haven't really, it just, I used to like this thing. So, I can't think of a lot else to add to this, just, I would not pay for this thing, I certainly wouldn't pay retail for it. I know some guys say they have them and they like them, however, I'm not one of those guys anymore, so, that's what happened with Cardboard Slayer on this thing. This was just, overall, very disappointing, and it hurt so much. Like this, again, after a normal Cardboard Slayer session, the hot spots are fine and they're not red anymore the next day, but this is still really red. Like it feels almost like a small bruise just off of that safety. So yeah, overall, I wouldn't buy this thing. I don't like it. The D2 did what D2 does. 4 hours and some change, and it could have gone a little bit longer into the 4 hour, 24 hour, 30-minute mark, somewhere around there, but it was definitely falling off a cliff. So, yeah, Can't think of nothing else to say about it. So all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. A bunch of y'all came pouring in last night. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. You guys are helping me build this channel into something special. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We do have giveaways that pop up every so often. If you're not a channel member and you want to win some cool stuff, I got a good giveaway coming up soon. But comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing or how Cardboard Slayer went. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.